in room 1 semi-final category. We had 3 judges, and those 3 judges have all agreed that one team qualifies automatically to the semi-finals. The team that comes to the semi-finals is the team that breaks direct to the grand finals with a 3-point giver by the judges. Is Team Bobby. So Team Bobby qualifies to the finals. It's a 3-0 save. In room 2, we had Kenzo, that I think is Padum, right? The host school. They were versing that B2C. Is that Millennium? Yes. So it was confirmed against Millennium College. However, there was a lot of tight debate in that room on which team had to qualify. So it went on to 2 against 1. So it means out of the 3 judges, 1 judge gave one team, then 2 gave another team. So it made it 2-1. So meaning that when we go to democracy, 2 takes the lead, right? Ladies and gentlemen, making the second team to this grand final. Let's welcome team B2C. Please think of this of the 2 schools. Come in front. Think of this of 2 schools. Please come in front. Please, in case you need to know the grounds in education of the semi-finals, you approach me, okay? Please, if you want to know the grounds in education, you approach me. I will tell you the grounds. Okay. Please, let's not go out to becoming for the finals direct. Let's not go out to becoming for the finals direct. With me here, I have 2 seats. I have A and I have N. So it means if you pick A, you are formative. If you pick N, you're negatives. Okay? Please, pick. So we have Millennium, they'll be affirming the motion, and Nyarlo, they'll be negating. All together. Millennium affirming, Nyarlo will be negating. The debate begins in 5. Okay, I know that some of the schools that have not provided blood to give, but we have awards. Who knows your school might be having the best speaker? Okay? And he or she will have to be appreciated for his work. Please, let's remain behind, okay? Let's try to remain behind. And the judge, the leading judge, who will be declared the results is Jane. Jane, come and sit in the middle. So Jane will be taking through these finals. Please remember we're going with our 4-3-3-2 time frame, okay? Let's follow time. Please give it us. Come in. I don't want this grand finals, no help. Please come in front, the 3 of you. Where are they? The 3 people come in front. Partners, please don't be with them. Please. Please, let's move in front. We don't need the partners to be in front. Go and take your seats. Go and take your seats. Go and take your seats. Faster. So, Nyoka Jane will be the chair of this meeting. I'll be out watching to do other things, please.
everyone. Very good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for coming for this debate. It's my heartfelt gratitude to be here, particularly judging rounds and coming to interact with different kind of vibrant students at this particular debate. These are the district qualifiers, and so far we have made it to the grand finale. We are having brilliant students proposing and opposing the resolution. It has an info slide, but I'll just go for the motion itself. This house, as Blinton, would not. This house, as Blinton, would not marry from West Nile. You have the info slide. So this is going to be an interesting debate, I believe, and I hope you guys give in your best. We are going to have 5 minutes of substance. The first speakers will be giving 5 minutes of speech, and then we have 4 for the second and third, and then we have 3 minutes of reply speeches. I pray you give best and use best of your time. A brief information, all patrons, please can you give the names of your students in the correct order. Bring it this side so that it's filled into their certificates. So the debate starts in, though you guys were giving 5 minutes to prepare, though it is a prepared motion, so in 2 we start debate. I wish you the best.
Before they come, all the patrons, please get for me the names of your debaters and quiz participants with the correct spellings and bring for us outside the certificates. Now.
Yeah. Brian will be timing us, and I wish he just gives you the kind of signals you'll be using for your protected times and when you're done with time.
Alright, thank you so much. This is how I'm going to control the time. We're going to go for 5 minutes, the first speakers, and after exhausting 1 minute, I'm going to notify the other side for them to have the platform of asking or raising POI. But when they're left with the 1 minute, I'm going to cause an alert so that you know they are left with 1 minute and then you summarize. Now, when they're left with 5 seconds, I am going to raise my hand. I will keep counting. The moment you now see me doing this, you stop. Thank you.
That's it, and debate starts. Please, let's feel free to take POIs and let's not make the debate look noisy, okay? Thank you so much.
I start my debate in the count of 1, 2, and 3. As the motion states, this house as Blinton would not marry from West Nile. As team farmers were coming to say, yes, Blinton should not marry from West Nile, or with which reasons of which we are going to talk about. When we talk about Blinton not marrying in this resolution, we are saying someone like Blinton should avoid marrying persons from West Nile because of their deep-rooted culture, tradition, and place. Hence why we are saying there's what cultural differences. There are what cultural conflicts. There are cultural conflicts. That's why we are saying from here that Blinton should not marry. When you take the aspect of what cultural conflicts, this can be when you think about the aspect of cultural differences, you can talk about the difference, the traditions. That's why we are saying Blinton should not marry from West Nile, because West Nile is a region where we know it is deep rooted in culture, traditions, and deep rooted in culture, tradition, and family ties as they in fossilized days. Whereas, okay, hence it brings me to the explanation of my point that says cultural differences. For for instance, we can take about when Brito as the house at large comes to marry someone from Western, we are talking about the difficulties that Britain will face. Since being a person of a different society, Britain comes to Western where he has no knowledge about the cultures in Western. It creates a frustration of Britain from having his success in marrying someone from Western. We can talk about the traditions. We can talk about the traditions. Where we are saying that someone like Britain, if you consider the traditions, the reason why we are saying Britain should not marry from Western in the aspect of tradition, we are talking about someone. For us, if we take the Kakwa tradition, when you marry a woman, you're supposed to bring. When you take a lady, you're supposed to report with a head or cock to report that you're ready. Your lady is ready. We ask this idea. Hence, promotes the unity of the society. Now, someone like Clinton, if you see Clinton is someone who doesn't know, and whereas if he comes to this cultural region here, he's going to face the challenges of tradition. He won't understand how these marriages are conducted here. That's why I'm saying Clinton should not marry from West Nile. We can talk about the aspect of beliefs. We don't know how this beliefs from West Nile are supposed to be implemented. That like Clinton doesn't know. We can talk about beliefs like, in case Clinton comes to marry in for instance, when I say Clinton is coming to marry in West Nile, what if a lady that he has already married says like, according to their cultural beliefs in West Nile, if you marry me, you're not supposed to have sex with me for over 2 years before we start this marriage. Now, why should someone like Clinton what do you think would be that courage to bring someone like Clinton to marry from Western because of the cultural differences that won't favor his aim of getting a wife? That's what they say. Clinton should not marry from Western because of the not allowed because of the difference in traditions, in beliefs and practices. We know each and every society has different practices. Since from the initial forefathers, they had practices that have been existing from then up to now. They have done. So you find as a society, it's very difficult for someone, a foreigner, to interfere with the culture. That's why I say it brings a cultural difference between Clinton and these people of West Nile. Hence frustrating Clinton from doing another aspect in relation to the frustration that comes from tradition, frustration that comes from beliefs, frustration that comes from practices. That's why we as team performers, we are coming to affirm this motion that says that this house as Clinton would not. We are saying this house as Clinton will not marry from Western for the reasons that Clinton don't marry from Western because of the cultural differences that have been explained. We can read about the conflicts that will come about Clinton and the wife since they are related to the culture and the tradition in the Western region. Since we know that Western is really deep rooted in culture and then for side states. That's why we are saying someone like Clinton who has never got any concern about West Nile, maybe his culture, his practices, should not bother himself to come and marry someone from West Nile for the frustrations that he's going to get his way. Because we know a person, a normal human being comes to get a wife because of to produce. Okay, the reason is to produce children, to have sex, whereas that's enjoying the sex too. Now how can you come and tell me that we should not have sex for 2 years? I still think. One country.
Okay, just for clarity, when he puts his hand up like that, he's about 5 seconds and he counting. So try to maximize that 5 seconds when he does right to that. So can we have the first speaker position on track?
Should I be forced to marry someone I don't want because of culture? Should culture determine where I should marry? Panel of duty? No. Now the first speaker clearly came. He was speaking about cultural differences. That is going to base our points. Panel of duty. Because here we are talking about cultural differences. There are differences in cultures. So what are we aiming at? Panel of duty? If you marry from a different place, which means you explore different cultures. He came here. He was like, Britain was not going to have idea. Like he was not going to have ideas on the culture that maybe he married from. But now what are we talking about here? Ideas, that is where we are aiming at panel of duty. I marry from a different place, you bring ideas, I bring my ideas, which means we are busily, like we are openly exploring culture. And then he came here, he was talking about cultural conflicts. Panel of Judy, we believe that yes, there are conflicts in every there are conflicts in every part, but what we are aiming at Panel of Judy, we are aiming at building it and solving it. So if you marry from another place and then if you marry from different places, do you believe that when there is when there is values and what, do you believe that you cannot understand yourself? Obviously you will understand yourself. Now the first speaker came here and he was like, Blinton is not someone from West Nile. Panel of Judy, Blinton is from West Nile. Now they fail to understand the resolution because they say that Blinton is not from West Nile, so you should not marry from West Nile. Now back to the resolution that says this house as Blinton would not marry from West Nile. Now, West Nile is a region rooted in culture, tradition, and strong families. Like many believe marrying within the region prevents identity and strengthens community bonds. However, growing exposures to different cultures has been to young people to question whether love and marriage should be guided by tradition. Panel of Judy, it's true, you cannot tell me to go and marry someone I don't know just because of culture. It is like marriage is not all about marrying from your culture, it's about who you feel for, why do you believe that I should marry this person? Now, Panel of Judy, what is our stand? Our stand is that Blinton should marry from West Nile. That's our stand. Or he should marry from West Nile. Now, friend, here we are going to base on value, cultural, community, and social cohesion. Now, marriage must strengthen families, preserve heritage, and maintain social harmony. So that is what you're aiming at. Marriage should not be just because I am from West Nile, I should marry someone from West Nile. It should be something you understand yourself, and then you and be able to understand your physicality. You are being as partners. Now, traditions are not barriers, they are protective symbols that secure identity, community, and future generations. So we believe that here we are going to protect our future generation, because you cannot expect me to only be married from West Nile and then I don't get to see other cultures. Now, what is our burden of proof, Panel of Judy? Our burden of proof is to disapprove the proportion, they claim and want to show that Blinton has strong reasons to marry from West Nile. Yes, strong reasons to marry from West Nile, Panel of Judy. Now, why Blinton should marry from West Nile? A, preserves cultural identity. So we believe that you should marry from West Nile because here, you marry from West Nile, yes, preserves cultural identity. B, it strengthens family and community bonds. West Nile communities are deeply friendly. Marrying within the community ensures support from extended families and networks. So we believe that Blinton should marry from West Nile because here they are going to, for example, your family will not approve you marry from somewhere else, but now if you marry from here, you will gain the family support. Now, because if you marry from a different place, you don't get the family support. Now here, marriage is not about two people, it's about uniting families, preserving society. Now, 3, we are going to talk about shared values and compatibility. People from West Nile often share similar traditions, morals, life goals. Marrying outside might create cultural friction or differences. Lifestyle, food, foods and customs. Now, for example, if you marry someone from Oba, just let's talk in the central part, that person is used to eating, bananas, and then you bring the person here. Now, do you believe that now West Nile, we are not of eating Inyasa? So do you believe that by this, obviously, it will bring differences, and then we're going to, now, what is going to be our mechanism to use? We are going to seek a partner within the community with both modern and traditional values. We engage in family discussions to ensure approval and strengthen trust. Here we are going to engage, and then be balanced.
Dear Judge, allow me to start my debate in one thought. 1. Dear Judge, allow me to go through my case. Before I reached here, my colleague came here, spoke about cultural difference. which is one of the biggest problems we are facing. We know that all these cultures in this world have different practices. Let me take, for example, Lubara. Lubara is having a different practice. You take also Kakwa. Kakwa is having a different practice. So how do you expect this person to marry in a culture where he doesn't know the practices these persons are performing? Maybe these persons are always committing murder, adultery before you marry somebody in their clan. How do you expect this person to marry? So we are saying that Clayton should not marry in West Nile because different cultures have different practices, which can lead to marriage complication. When different people have different practices, the marriage becomes so complicated. It may be so hard for yourself to adapt yourself to the culture those people are having. For example, I myself, if I'm married, just as if I'm married Chinese, you know this Chinese we do eat snake. Will I be able to adapt myself in eating a snake? It will become so hard for me because I don't know the cultures they do practice. So we are saying that Clayton should not marry in West Nile because of the differences in culture. So this takes me to my point, cultural conflicts. As we are all aware that different cultures have different practices. I myself, I may marry a Kakwa guy, but I am a Lubara lady. Will these two cultures really match? How will they match? They will not match. Different cultures have different things. Assuming in other class, you have to pay bride first before having a sex with that woman you are married. You have to pay bride first before you have a sex with that lady you are married. So we are saying that no, Clayton should not marry in West Nile because different cultures have different practices. Which will take me to the other point. Pressure from extended families. You know, some of our families doesn't allow us to marry in different cultures because they have the right decision to choose us who to marry. So we are saying that Clayton should not marry in West Nile. Clayton should not marry in West Nile because of cultural conflicts which may arise. For example, in other cultures, if you not pay bride price, the culture will be able to pick the lady you're having. We just leave you like that. We just leave you. So we are saying that Clayton should not marry in Lubara, let me say in West Nile. At least he should choose in their culture where he is addicted to everything their cultures they are having. So with all this, their opposition, I'll let you that we really stand firm on our side, saying that Clayton should not marry in West Nile because of the cultural differences, which have different practices, which can make somebody not to adjust into. Then cultural differences, which may lead to misunderstandings. So with all this, I would like to raise my case here by saying thanks.
I don't know, a kind and a very kind appeal to the floor. Please, can we maintain some silence? For some reasons, we are also streaming here, so your voices around from the floor can interfere with it. And besides also distracting our debaters from the front and also interrupting the judges from getting clearly what the speakers are saying. So please, can you just maintain some silence? And for the speakers, please, I'll ask you not to be moving the lights around there. It's okay that you flip your paper to make you able to see your work, but please don't touch it. Thank you so much.
I'm going to start my speech by sentencing this trophy is mine. Now, the trophy becomes a victory to my side. I want to prove it clearly. Now, even if we are still negatives, we didn't come with any valuable case that makes us win this debate. We still win this debate because team proposition failed already to analyze the resolution by describing Blinton, that is the actor of the motion, as somebody who is out of West Nile. But what do we look at in this motion? Now, this motion is trying to tell us that this house as Blinton will not marry from West Nile. Now, this is an actor motion, right? Now, Blinton is the actor in the motion. Now, we should look at the fact that, now, what Blinton definitely wants, but for them, they describe Blinton as somebody who is out of West Nile, right? Now, they assume Blinton is somebody who is out of West Nile. He does not know maybe the tradition of West Nile, but this is what I want to prove it. They have understood the case wrongly. But how we understood our case, we feel Blinton is somebody from West Nile. Now, what is the key question in this motion? The motion says, should identity give for you the limit for you to marry, maybe because of your identity, or you should have your personal choice? Therefore, for us we say, we tell clearly the house that for us we do not prioritize personal choice, but rather we go for the culture itself. Because West Nile, we believe West Nile is a place that has to preserve the culture and tradition. That's why we as team opposition, we stand on the ground and defend the fact that Blinton should marry from West Nile, because we want to see that the culture of West Nile is prioritized. I still see that we have upper hand in winning this debate, because even still further, team proposition, they come on board and prove for us cultural differences, which still come better to our side of the house. Because how do we achieve cultural differences? One, we achieve cultural differences because we want Blinton to marry from West Nile, because we do not want interference with other cultures. Because if Blinton goes and marries somebody who is a Uganda, now this person is brought to West Nile, this person brings the idea of eating matoke every day, which is not the case in West Nile. And therefore, that's why we do not want to bring interference in the culture of West Nile. And as Blinton, as being a citizen of West Nile, we feel Blinton should prioritize the interest of the culture of the people of West Nile. Now, what do we achieve at the end of the day? We got it clearly from our first speaker that we are talking about 2 points here. Shared values ensure marital stability. We want to ensure marital stability because we want to see marriage should be based on something, not on personal feelings, but it should be based on shared values. For instance, shared values doesn't mean like in the same culture you share this same value, and this is what is expected of this. Now, therefore, we actually recommend Blinton to marry from West Nile because we do not want any other thing. We don't want marriage to be unstable, because when you marry somebody from outside the region, which is based in another culture, that person brings in and bring other forms of culture which contradicts with the culture that exists in West Nile, and that is not what we look at in this debate. Now, secondly, we told you clearly the mechanism that we are going to use. One is Blinton should seek a partner within the region who aligns with both modern and traditional values. Then secondly, engage in family discussions to ensure approval and strengthen trust. You cannot just go, yes, you can prioritize your personal choice, right? You can decide whom you can marry, but now whom you can marry should be determined by your parents. Your parents will look like, hey, this person is a very disciplined person, this person shares value, and that's what we achieve at the end of the day. Now, we want Blinton should be a kind of person who will marry within West Nile, because we still want to see the community and the family should be engaged together. We want to maintain that bond between community. Now, for instance, there are very many tribes in West Nile here. Now, for instance, we share the same values and cultures. Now, if Blinton marries somebody from another tribe, right? Now, we want to maintain that stronger bond. Now, how is that bond going to be achieved? Because you share the same culture, definitely the bond will come. Now, talking about marrying somebody out of West Nile, for instance, you're marrying somebody who is a Muganda, for instance, somebody who practices female circumcision in the side of the house. Now, when this woman, you marry this woman and bring the woman to West Nile, the woman begins to convince you that our female lady should be circumcised, which we do not approve of. West Nile culture is not that way. Therefore, we want to stand and defend the interest that West Nile should be a region where marriage should be within for Blinton. So Blinton should not go for other forms of marriages from other regions. Now, what do we achieve at the end of the day? One, we're going to preserve cultural heritage. Secondly, strengthening social cohesion. Thirdly, marital stability and shared values. Community respect and influence. People are going to respect you because you have followed what the culture demands from you. Therefore, I still take this trophy because I want to present my mind, my voice, my video. Thank you.
I'm going to start my debate in a count of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. My dear honorable speaker from the negative side, you come and talk about that Blinton is someone in West Nile, but I want to tell you that you didn't understand what the resolution is talking about. If you read it slowly, it says, this house, as Blinton, will not marry from West Nile. Blinton is not someone from West Nile. If something is from, meaning it is out of the place that you are in. Something from is something which is very far. So I have to tell
the people from to marry from other regions. The moment that you have given this man the opportunity, we are saying he's not married in West Nile because let him marry at wherever he is because we wanted him to have a better unity and peace in his family. In a way that in some families people don't expect people to marry from other regions. That one automatically will bring misunderstanding in a family. We are saying that Blinton should be married in his region because we wanted him to have peace, unity and cooperation with the family members. That is it. My dear Honorable Speaker also talk of conflict resolution. We do understand that in all the families we normally have a lot of conflicts, and sometimes these conflicts can be solved best in our local languages, where you find that we will bring those traditional beliefs and people will understand it. But whenever we go past marrying to other regions, how are you going to solve it? We should look at the aspect of solving it using our local language to be the best part of it. That's why we are standing firm and saying that Blinton should not marry from West Nile, rather he should be married from the region where he came from. So my dear honorable speakers, from the negative side, I have to tell you that marrying in your region, it is the best because we wanted to promote peace, unity, cooperation, and a family of love in all the parts of the country. Therefore, we start by saying, Blinton should not marry from West Nile, rather he should remain at wherever he is. Thank you.
Chief Judge, I will start by rereading the enforced line for team affirmative. West Nile is a region rooted in culture, traditions, and strong family ties. Many believe marrying within the region prioritizes identity and strengthens community bonds. However, growing exposure to different cultures has led some young people understand that point. Keep marking my points. Growing exposure to different cultures has led some young people to questions whether love and marriage should be guided by traditions. So this is an act of motion. We believe that Blinton is somebody from West Nile. He is in the enforced line. If you take a look, Chief Judge, they came here and they were talking about preserved culture. We achieve preservation of culture in our words better. In a way, we clarify to them that if you marry from the same region, they say that an apple fruit falls under an apple tree. It doesn't fall away. It falls under a tree. For example, if you marry from West Nile, that means the culture will go down tradition. We don't believe. For example, you can love someone, but without the support of your community, who will bless that marriage? In religion, we believe that marriage is blessed by your parents. Who will bless it? Or will you just take it as a marriage? So that won't work. They talked here and they came and talked about cultural difficulties. How? What are the impacts? How will it affect us? They don't tell us. They just give us cultural difficulties. How will it affect us? And we came here and talked about cultural difficulties will come in our world, whereby if you go and marry, for example, our first speaker talked about marrying in Uganda, and she is used to eating matoke. That will be now cultural difficulties. For example, you will not be used to what this woman will be imposing in you. Chief Judge, we came here and talked about unity and peace. How will it promote unity and peace? And how, at the end of the day, how will we, they don't clarify to us, how will we achieve unity and peace in their own words? But in our own words, we clarify to you that we are going to achieve unity and peace in a way whereby, if you marry from your same region, people, for example, the social support, for example, you can be blessed, everybody will witness your marriage. But if you marry from different cultures, for example, the Ugandas, the men can cook and the men are the one going to market. And for example, bring it down to our local people here, whereby in West Nile, will this allow social support? No, rather than it will be what demoralizing us. So we want the point of cultural preservation in our words, and they lose it because in their case they bring it whereby cultural preservation theirs is preserved by marrying from wherever you are. Is that the case? You marry, home is always home. That's they say that's it. They fail to understand that. We told them that they asked us bring culture. We talked of how they talked about cultural conflicts. Cultural conflict is not in their world. However, we want this point of cultural conflict in our world whereby if you marry from your same region, there will be controlled conflicts. For example, you marry a Muganda and you come and live her with your parents and you're walking away. Will you think this woman will respect his parents in your actions? No, but it's somebody who is from West Nile, understand what she is supposed to do. And so we want that point of cultural conflicts. They came here and they talked about protection of traditions and beliefs. We want the point of traditions and beliefs in our own side, whereby if we if you marry somebody you bring from West Nile and you bring her to your mother, introduce her. That is why introduction before marriage is there. With your own marriage, how will you do introduction before marriage? Will your parents be there? Wherever you are, your parents are not there. So we are going to achieve it, and it's going to strengthen family and community bonds. We came here and we talked about marriage is not only between two individuals, but between families and communities. That is called marriage. But between two individuals, that is not marriage. They fail to understand the motion, and they were talking about the motion is that you are to marry from West Nile, that you are to marry from your region. But Chief Judge, I'm clearly telling you that we want the point that Blinton is from West Nile. If you take a look at the enforced line, if somebody, some user exposed, that means Blinton is somebody from West Nile, and he is exposed to some cultures. And what is it? This is an act of motion. You act the motion that we are Blinton, and we believe that if Blinton marries from West Nile, he is going to preserve the culture. So I say this trophy is ours because we want the point of cultural difference, cultural preservation in our own words, and the lost in direction.
That is all for the speeches. The next is I'll be having our reply speeches, and the first or second speaker from the creative side, you will have the reply speeches.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, since I was born, I didn't touch a boy, but today I'm going to touch it for the very first time in this motion. Now, we are talking about the motion itself. The proposition understood differently, we do it differently, but we still look at the angle, which side justifies the interest of maybe of the answer. But for us, we look at Blinton as someone who comes from West Nile, someone who got exposed to different cultures in the world of Uganda. Therefore, now, we are saying now, should now the identity of West Nile, should now can identity be preserved by marrying from West Nile or from Maori from outside West Nile? But now, we come on board and prove to you that now, we still feel as team affirmatives, as team negatives, rather, we think Blinton should marry from West Nile. We brought for you points like shared values, ensure marital stability. Secondly, it's not family and community bonds. Now, if I am to weigh all the points that we brought on board and what they brought for us on board, they brought for us things to do with differences in cultures, differences in cultures, and then the beliefs in different cultures, whereby we all approve of. But at this point, we brought all their ideas into our side of the house because we are achieving what? A target that Blinton should marry within the region, should marry within the locality that he comes from. Therefore, Blinton should marry from West Nile because at the end of the day, we want to ensure that marriages are stable, marriages are not based on maybe personal interest, but it should be based on a community argument or a community value, or it should be based on your culture. Now, we came on board and proved to you that we want Blinton to marry from West Nile because the people in West Nile, they share values and to maintain stability in marriages. Now, when you marry somebody from your culture, you find that to a greater extent, the marriage is going to be stable because you will have the same kind of practices. But we still prove to you further that when you marry somebody from outside the region, now that person comes. That person may come with different motives of driving your culture. For instance, you know men, sometimes they can get exposed to women, sometimes they can be influenced by women easily. That's why we feel Blinton should marry from West Nile. I take this trophy home. Come rain, come sunshine.
Thank you once again to start with. Our open say will be coming on stage convincing us, the audience are right. My judge is saying that they talk about the aspect of Blinton is in West Nile. But from the results we're getting that Blinton should not marry from means, if you take mathematical, when you're doing bearing, from means where it starts from that point there, that's why we bring that Blinton is that side of the road and we're here as the other one part of the road. That's why we're saying Blinton should not marry from this part of the road, rather he should marry from that side of the road. That's to make it simple for you. And the second speaker came about community bonds. Community bonds always come as a result of marrying within yourself, your community alone, please bonds. How do you think the bond will come? When you marry from here and from this community, you go to marry from another community. Do you think there will be any kind of bond that will be created? Will there be any strong relationship that will be created rather than marry from the same from the same community that it is? That's why we as the farmers were saying, Blinton, as the house at large should not marry from West Nile because of the arguments that we have said. There is cultural differences. Now she talked about marrying a Ghana lady. If you bring someone from another side, like she said like an example of what marrying a Ghana lady, when brought home, she will lose respect. That's why we are saying that Plato should not marry, because he doesn't know what exactly is in that in West Nile. That's why they say Plato should not marry to avoid the aspect of what lack of respect among themselves. That's why we stand firm that this topic shall be ours for this case. They talked about, okay, last time to emphasize to prove beyond reasonable times. We are saying that always local language is the best means of solving conflicts. Why? How? When you get people who are married in the same society, in each society there are proverbs that are used for a specific society. It's not that it's not like a transfer from another society to another one, because both of them understand the differently. That's why I say the topic is ours to give us and we go home. Thanks.
Interesting round, and at the end of the day, indeed, one team has to win. That is the verdict that we will have to give. Otherwise, thank you so much for the round. It was a tight one. I'll ask you to interact freely and greet each other as the judges meet around to give the verdict. And in the meantime, the entertainment team can be giving entertainment while we welcome the director to come and give us hints on what to do next from here. Thank you so much.
And I don't know how I did it. I made it through, and I can't tell how I did it. But one thing I know, Jehovah took it over, and that is how I made it through. This is my testimony. I made it through, and I don't know how I did it. I made it through, and I can't tell how I did it. But one thing I know, Jehovah took it over, and that is how I made it through. It's over, and that is how you made it.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think that was the grand finale, right? You'll see how it is. I mean, some of us have by now know which team wins based on how we have debated, right? Those who have a little bit of what that is debating experiences. But however, there's always one thing that has to go through. There's always one thing that ought and must go with trophy. As they are planning and discussing which team they're giving the value to, I'm going to be driving us through the chain of events in regards to the top flight meters and all of weekend. So those, I don't know where Mr. Lawrence is around. Mr. Lawrence, where are you? Mr. Lawrence from the host school, where is he? Please somebody call for Mr. Lawrence to come in front here. So, the patrons who are around, please, you come to this front desk to come and check for the certificates of your students. You come and take the certificates of your students. If in case your school is missing certificates, you inform us so that you can serve and get your school. But if you're around, please come here and check for the certificates of your students. That means we certificate who is the 5th best speaker, but start giving certificates for the best 4. All together. All together. We're not going to go to the best 10. Now, the criteria was we're able to combine speaker points from the 3 rounds that all the students participated in. Okay? We did not consider semifinals and finals. Okay? Because we want to make equality where everybody is able to participate and we determine based on how you have presented. Are we together? So, I don't know where's Mr. Lawrence? Where's Mr. Lawrence? Is there all? Okay. I think 2 matrons. Madam, you come. Come in front. You help me in giving certificates out. Because I can't treat them like breathing names at the same time. And patron for Millennium. Please also come and help me out here. Yes. So you help me in giving out certificates. Okay? Yes, then also now put people to be given today. Yes. Okay. What you're going to do is you start here. So when I read the name, the person will come and greet you, and then I give the certificate to the person. Okay? So meaning that when I read the name, you come like this, you greet, then you go down to give the certificate. Okay? Are we together? But the number 5th best speaker is not going to be given a certificate. You just come and greet to people to see. So I'm giving from the number 4. Are we together? Are we all agree? I know the hearts are all waiting. Who is that person? Don't worry. So, ladies and gentlemen, the 5th best speaker for this year's Western Bay Championship is someone known as Adroko Joan. Adroko Joan. I don't know if I pronounce correctly. Please, really your hand. Yeah. This is the 5th best speaker. And so come, let her come from Mauricio because you see that she's here. Thank you very much. You have done good. Yes, you are come again with a new song of praise. God is good. Congratulations. That's good. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah. It's okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. We're now moving to the 4th best debater in this round. Now, these are the people who are going to start receiving certificates. All together. Ladies and gentlemen, the 4th best debater. The 4th best debater is Blessing in Allah. Blessing in Allah is the 4th best debater. Please DJ, play the music. Let that come. Congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you. And you will come back with a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again with a new song of praise. God is good. Okay, that is the 4th best debater. We're now coming to the battle of the 3. Okay? The battle of the 3. Ladies and gentlemen, the 3rd best debater for this year is somebody known as Robert Ladu. Robert Ladu. The 3rd best debater. Please, DJ, play the songs. 1 week, you will sing a new song. 2 days, less than that, you will hear. Congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it for you. And you will come back with a new song to sing. God is good. Yes, you will come again. Okay, that was the best debater. Then, we're coming out to the best 2. Okay? The best 2. Ladies and gentlemen, this person scored a total speaker points of 218 in all his 3 rounds. It's a hit. And he has done us good. And ladies and gentlemen, the 2nd best debater for this year is none other than Nelson Mandela. Please, let's go. Okay, now we are on to the number one contender, right? Who is the man among monsters? This person was able to score a total speaker points of 221 in only 3 rounds. He has shown a lot of leadership skills and he has been so exceptional when it comes to debates. And the judges has unanimously agreed that the top best speaker is Lesandra. That's the rule of our speaker. And when it's coming, let's start with hands. Are we ready? DJ, are you ready to stop? Ladies and gentlemen, for this year's top best debater in the West Nile edition in Kokopo history, let's give our hands together to welcome one greatest man in the names of Stephen Enam. So, let's listen. Just a quick later, okay? So, let's listen. In World Schools debate format, the best debater is always given 1 minute to speak. You get, that's the rule. So, it also applies here. He's the best debater. He's going to tell us how he feels and what he thinks. In 1 minute's time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's more than what words can express, because I am whom I am because of who you are. In one way or the other, you made me whom I am. Most especially in my school, Padong Secondary School. Mr. Asidu Lawrence. My twin brother from another mother, Samson Modi. And to everyone, thank you very much. I'm not the best because I still have another chance to meet you and we'll bring the world together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's start the winners going. Now, the bass is too much. The bass of the mic is too much. Can you listen? Let's listen. We're winding up. Now, we're coming to the finals. Okay? We're going to begin with the quiz category. All together. We're going to be announcing the champions of quiz this year. Okay? And I'll take it. Okay, let's listen. Let's listen. The results for the quiz category. Let's listen, please. We're out of time, okay? So, in the quiz category, in the quiz category, we had 2 teams that participated in the grand finale. That is can you use the base? The base is too much. The teams that took part in the grand finale of the quiz category is Team Padongo SS against Team Kokomo Parents. Are we together? After a total comparison of the three sessions that they had in regards to politics, health, and entertainment, ladies and gentlemen, the team that wins this year's first edition of the West Nile Debate Championship Quiz Tournament is Kokomo Parents SS. Please, the whole team come. Kokomo Parents are the champions of the 2026 West Nile Debate Championship Quiz competition.
Now hear this.
Congratulations, champions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, DJ. They won DJ Tudida. Kokomo Parents won Padongo, scoring 130 against 65. So Kokomo Parents had 130 scores against 65. That makes them the champions of the first edition. Now, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? We're not waiting for the big dog. We're not waiting for the big dog. Ladies and gentlemen, in the debate category, and please, let's celebrate with a lot of care, okay? I know this is what we're waiting for. She was a chairperson in terms of the 5 adjudicators. Are we together? So, I'm only going to introduce for her to give the team that wins. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, based on the analysis, the team that wins the 2026 debate competition grand finale in Padongo SS is
With 9 marks for it, we give it to team. We give it to team Nyarulo. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this champion of the West Nile Debate Championship, secondary school. Congratulations. Let's start the one fast. Please do it. Let the run-ups, both teams to first come in front. Both teams 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 come in front. Come to sign, back to sign.
Now hear this.
Okay. Put it down. We shall have the runners up to come and take their medals for us to appreciate them for reaching the finals. You know, it's not easy. Starting all the way from the preliminaries and up till now. It's not easy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, your club is. It's so easy. Now, it's time for the champions, okay? But before the champions take the trophy, it's more important that we appreciate them for the work that they've done, okay? So as they're going to take their seats, let's clap for them. So this is the finals. Time for the champions now. DJ, play for them a song. Let us dance. It's time. Do you have this song, Stand Up for the Champions? Is it there? Stand Up for the Champions. It's not there. Okay, you can play that song. Congratulations by Ada.
Oh my God, now hear this.
Ladies and gentlemen, that marked the first edition of the West Nile Debate Championship. Please, let's listen. This tournament isn't done altogether. In about 2 weeks' time, the schools that have reached the semi-finals altogether, the schools that have reached the semi-finals, I repeat, the schools that have reached the semi-finals, they will be sent letters inviting them for the regional tournament that will be hosted by Koboko in the municipal hall in June. Okay. So it will be in June. Tomorrow shall be in Maroti district for their district profiles. We shall also be preparing for schools to come again in June in Koboko. Are we together? We thank you very much for hosting us, for the blessings. We thank you very much for the champions. God bless you. See you next year. Thank you very much.